Chris Hajec is the director of litigation for the Immigration Reform Law Institute. He joins me now. He's involved in a lawsuit against Gary, Indiana for what else but sanctuary city policies. Chris, it is great to have you on the program.
Great to be here.
So what's going on in Gary, Indiana is similar to what's going on in many liberal cities across the country. Why don't you lay out for me what you're up against and what you're doing about it?
Gary, like many cities, passed sanctuary laws. These are called welcoming ordinances, and they basically shut down all cooperation by city officials with federal immigration law enforcement. They don't want to enforce the law at all. Even if they have a criminal in custody, they would rather let him back on the street than call ICE or allow ICE to come in the jail and interview that alien and deport the alien if he's deportable. They, for reasons that are probably political and largely symbolic, they want these criminals back on the streets.
Well, I'll tell you what it's about. It's certainly about politics. It's about not having the guts to stand up for the law of the land, which is the Constitution, and really just law enforcement and the safety of not just them, but the people of that city. I believe they're garnering for votes. If they figure they coddle these criminals, they're weak on crime, they let illegals who hopefully will be given somehow amnesty, then in the end, it'll be a big win for the Democratic Party. Meanwhile, the people of Gary, Indiana are dying at an alarming rate from murderers roaming the streets.
That's very true. And not only is it incredibly dangerous what they're doing, it's from a legal perspective, it just completely violates the Constitution. Immigration is a uniquely federal responsibility. It's part of foreign policy. And for the city deliberately to impede federal enforcement of federal laws violates the Supremacy Clause, which makes federal law supreme.
All right, so it's not just Gary, Indiana. We've got cities like San Francisco. There are cities here in Texas like Austin. You've got Baltimore. You've got Chicago. You've got, in many cases, even New York City that could be considered sanctuary cities. What are you doing about Gary, Indiana now? You're suing them, and where does that stand?
We just filed our complaint this week. We are suing them under an Indiana anti-sanctuary law that was passed several years ago. And Gary is simply flouting this law. The law says that no locality can order its officers not to cooperate less than the full extent of cooperation allowed under federal law. And federal law allows and encourages a lot of cooperation to help enforce the immigration laws.
All right, well, we wish you all the success in that lawsuit. Chris Hajec, it is great to have you on the program. Thank you for coming on today.